Alright guys, today we're going to learn how to make some cymbal straps. So you gotta have three things: roll a cymbal strap, lighter, scissors. This is kind of too small of a scissors, but we're going to make it work. So the first thing you want to do is take the end of your cymbal strap, and if it's not, if it's all frayed like that, you want to take the lighter and you're going to go ahead and burn that until you get a nice unfuzzy surface. It's going to be like kind of molten and firm, and I'm going to show you that in a second here. So if you look there, you can kind of see how it's like kind of like shiny almost. So that's kind of what you want. Then the next thing that you're going to want to do to make the cymbal strap like the right size for your hand, you can make them longer or shorter as you need, but kind of what you want to do is take one end of the cymbal strap. So you see where my thumb is, I'm going to put that underneath where my other thumb is, so it's like that. And that gives me this nice little cymbal shape, right? I'm going to put my hand in there, and then you want it minimum, you want to like take this free part and pull it until it's like in line with your hand. That's going to give you plenty to work with to tie a strap. Sometimes people like to take it all the way down to like here if you want a double knot, but I think this works just fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab right here where I want to cut, undo that, and go ahead and cut this strap length off. Okay. Next thing you're going to want to do is burn the other end, similar to the first, just to make sure that that's nice and clean. You don't want any of that extra fuzz, because what that's going to do is it's going to snag on stuff and keep pulling off and make your strap harder and harder to tie. So we're just going to burn that nice and good. If you look, you can kind of see, like, it might be hard to see in the video, but you can kind of see like how like the fuzz kind of shrinks in towards the center of the strap. So now what I'm going to do, let that side cool, but I'm going to start on the other side. So I'm going to pull this out here, or actually, sorry. Let's go ahead and put it in like it's a cymbal strap. And then I'm going to take my hand, put it inside it, and then I just want to kind of like gauge how far that is. You want to cut it until it's just past like the crest of your hand. So like I'll probably cut it right about there. So I'm going to try and get as close as I can to that, and then I'll kind of check it and keep cutting. You want to cut down the very center of the strap. And like if you look, there's like kind of these beads going across. There's probably like 16 of them or so. You really want to make sure that you're on the center, not crossing over, because that's just going to create more fuzz in the long run. So that looks close. I bet that's a little short. I'm going to cut it a little bit more. So I'm going to do that same thing, kind of pick it back up, put it on my hand, make sure that both ends here are nice and tight. So as you see, like that's actually a little bit too high on my hand, but that's going to be fine. You can still tie that. It's going to be okay. You definitely want to err on the side of being too close this way than too close this way, because if you're too close this way, like if it's here, you're going to constantly have minimum of that much extra play, which you don't want. So this will be fine. I'm going to cut the other side just a little bit shorter. And actually, I'm not going to cut that. I'm just going to do one side for the purpose of this video, but you would generally cut this other side to here too before you start the next step. Next step you want to do is take all this fuzz, and you start at the base of it, and you kind of like pull it out this way. And as you can see, I'm working really carefully and slowly here. So you're gonna have this little bit of fuzz right here, but you don't want any like strands kind of. So you guys see how like I took all of this and I pulled it away from there. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go from the very top, you're just gonna snip that off. And I got some extra fuzz right there. That's fine for right now, I'll deal with that in a second. Then I'm gonna just kind of leave that flopped over towards me and take the other side, do the same thing. So I'm pulling out right here, fuzz all the way to the top, kind of grab it like that. And you want to get it as close in as you can. If you have that extra fuzz, it's okay, but that's obviously better. All right, sweet. So now I have this little chunk down here. I'm going to pinch all of that together and snip it off nice and close to the end right there. Sweet. Okay, so now as you can see, I got this extra fuzz. Let's deal with that actually real quick. Oh wait, if you can zoom in right here, you see how I got this extra little strand coming up right here? You can't deal with that like that, so you have to like pull that out, and you'll have to do one more cut. So I'm gonna do that first, then deal with that extra fuzz. Cut that at the base, and then we're just gonna kind of try and hold that tight and get a nice little snip right there. Okay, so now we got a little bit extra stuff right here, but I don't want to deal with that. I think I can burn it in. Actually, that's not going to work, so I'm going to pull that off too. So you kind of have to play with it, kind of have to feel where like those extra strands are, and where it's like actually, like there's like strands coming out, which you don't want. What you do want is this nice like little zippered fuzz right there. This actually shows it better. Let's look right there. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to start at this end over here, and we're going to use the lighter to light that down to the edge. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna hold this nice and flat, turn on the lighter, and I'm starting at that end. And as you can see, like the fuzz is kind of like shrinking back up into that. That's exactly what you want. You don't want it to be overheated, but you also don't want to let it be too long either. Like right here is where I just stopped burning. You can see that one's still like a little bit long. So one last thing while you're burning this, you want to burn like a short little area, like maybe a thumb length. And as you can see, it's bent downwards. You just want to give it a nice little tug to straighten that out. Otherwise your cymbal strap's going to end up being like really turned in. So I'm just going to keep on doing this down to the base. I'll do both sides just so you can get a good idea of how this is supposed to look. If you have a strand right here, what it does is kind of like what's happening there. You get that little goop. And you don't want that. Like, it's okay, and like I only have one so far, so I'm pretty okay with that. But like if you have a bunch of strands, that's just gonna get messier and messier and harder to deal with. Cool. Keep on burning this. Now when you get down to the end, you don't want to burn it too much because we're actually gonna do that end as like its own little thing there. So now I'm just gonna pull this tight for a second while it cools down to make sure it doesn't warp like that. So I'm just holding it tight. That should be good. Same thing on the other side, and I'll show you the last like step here. And this one actually, I see like right here, I don't have enough fuzz to actually work with, so I'm gonna pull out maybe like 1 or 2 more of those beads widths until it looks nice and uniform. And that means I have to recut, but that's okay. So now again, I'm gonna start at this end. You wanna make sure that this is kind of like parallel to the ground right there. It just helps it to burn straight upwards so you don't get this like running. Also be careful when you start burning that, and you do want to pull it, but you also want to like not burn your fingers. Just be smart about it. So here you can kind of see maybe in the video, like it's starting to have like this little bit of a run, and it's like kind of like going both ways instead of going straight up with the fuzz. It's kind of spreading this way. That's because I have a little bit of a strand that's out there instead of it just all being fuzz actually. If you've noticed, my thumb keeps on going just to the left of this. Like I wouldn't want to start like that because that's just going to be really hard to control and make sure that that burns upright. So you always want to make sure that your thumb is pretty close to that. That I got a pretty big strand in, so that's why it's running to side to side. Okay, cool. That's pretty good. Then the last thing you're going to do is take both of these. Well, let's pull it first. Give it a nice little pull. Then I'm going to take both of these, fold them down like this, and I just want to kind of bend that little bit of fuzz. You can kind of see my finger pushing on it right there. That stuff we gotta get rid of, so we're gonna take this and we're just gonna get that real nice and hot in there. That you will get some little bumps and some little like bubbles of it, and that's totally okay, but you need to make sure that that's super not fuzzy because that's the #1 place that it starts to break at and become a problem. You got the other side, same thing. Okay. That looks pretty good. We're gonna like kind of look at it one more time, pull it tight. I'm gonna check both sides. Yeah, both of those look like they're nice and burned. So that's gonna be about right. The last thing that you're gonna wanna just do before, maybe even before you do the other side, is give it one more double check. So if I put this on my hand as if it's a cymbal strap, still a little hot there. So as you can see, like I didn't do the best sticking because it's so hot. That's like a bit too high. Really, you want it down more like where my thumb is, but this will totally work for a strap still. But next time I just cut it a little bit shorter. I shouldn't have cut it so high. And then the next thing that you would do is you would just do the same thing that we did on this side to the other side, and you have a cymbal strap. One thing just for maintenance, as you keep on tying and retying them, you're gonna have more and more just stuff like right here where we burnt it become a little bit frayed and come off. So what you're gonna wanna do is that just like periodically like reburn it from time to time if you have like extra fuzz. But if you look like you have too much fuzz, I would just make a new strap because these are super inexpensive. Leather straps are about $12 a pair. These are about 12 cents a pair. So like it's really a time commitment to like make each one, but they usually last pretty good. So thanks for watching.